Hi, I'm Lynnea.
And I'm Dan.
And this is
Dusted or Busted.
To those of you who have seen our show before, welcome back. This is our preview for Season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race. For those of you who are new, welcome to our show.
This is the second year in a row that we've done our series for RuPaul's Drag Race. And last year we started with the Season 6 preview where we went through all the queens, said some good things, some bad things. But one thing that we noticed was that a lot of people questioned our research when it came to forming opinions of the queens. So this year we decided to... we made a bibliography.
We are providing some tangible proof about the research that we've done. So we've watched all the Meet the Queens videos, and then we Googled, YouTubed all of the queens just to make sure that the representation that they gave us in the Meet the Queens wasn't the only thing we were basing our opinions off of. So that bibliography is in the description below. Feel free to check it out. How many pages were there of research when it was all said and done?
10?
The bibliography is 10 pages, so knock yourselves out.
Also, since Season 7 is going to be a tight race, we decided to make this video an homage to the Kentucky Derby, so we're kind of dressed a little bit more formal than we usually are. We got this nice hat here, which will serve a purpose, and instead of mint juleps, we've got mojitos. Mojito. Because they're like the gay version of the mint julep. So...
cheers to Season 7.
Mm-hmm.
In the hat, we have the names of 12 of the 14 queens. We're saving the 2 that Dan and I think are going to be winning for the end. And that's how we'll decide who we're going to talk about. We'll give you the order of the elimination that we think they're going to fall in. And then by the end, you'll be able to see our full lineups. And we do have some very different opinions this year, unlike last season. So let's get started. First, you
can go first.
Okay, I'm going to pick this one. Pearl. Let's start with Pearl. My impressions of her were rather bland. I didn't think that her Meet the Queens video was super... I felt like I didn't get a lot of personality from it.
I didn't either, but I think she was doing that on purpose.
Possibly. That could be very true. So then when I looked up some of her performances on YouTube and what have you, a lot of them were really similar. They were solid performances, but they were all the same, and her look was the same, the style of song was the same.
Right.
But who knows? She might surprise us.
The first video that I saw of her, I was pretty impressed with it because it was just something kind of new, never really seen it before. She had kind of a little bit of fun with the song, but then every subsequent performance, I didn't really... there was nothing special about it because it was basically the same thing as I saw before. She's young. Mm-hmm. She got her start in Chicago, lives in New York now. So she's had that sort of big city vibe with her. She's had that upbringing.
Mm-hmm. So in my lineup, I have her in 12th place.
And I have Pearl in 9th place. Our next queen is Violet Chachki.
Violet Chachki.
Violet Chachki is also one of the younger queens this year.
She's very young.
She's from Atlanta, Georgia.
I thought in her Meet the Queens video, the first impression I had of her was she is really young. That's not always a bad thing, but the way that she gave her answers and some of the responses she had in her antics were indicative of a very young queen. That can be helpful, though. She's going to be a very fresh face, which is good. And then we watched one video where she did kind of this Cirque du Soleil performance.
Yeah, because she's...
and that was breathtaking. That was
loved that. That was amazing.
Very good. I don't know if they'll have that kind of set for RuPaul's Drag Race or if she'll be able to do some of those types of things on the show, but I was really blown away by that performance.
Violet is also known as sort of like a drag burlesque performer.
Yeah.
So that's obviously where she got that influence from.
Her look is good. Her look is on point. She paints well, her body's right, all of that.
Some people have been saying that in response to what you said about her answers in the Meet the Queens video, some people are saying that she gave off that vibe because she got eliminated early. Like last season, they had filmed all the Meet the Queen stuff after Vivacious got eliminated. Which is why like Magnolia and Vivacious had like the short stupid answers because it doesn't matter. They knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah. Also, she's been the center of some controversy.
A couple years ago, Sharon Needles was judging a pageant in Atlanta where afterwards she no longer had the crown that she won from RuPaul's Drag Race. So everyone was trying to figure out what happened to Sharon's crown. Did someone steal it? And then pictures were circulating around the internet with Violet Chachki wearing a crown that looked really similar to Sharon's crown.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see if they bring that up on the show at all.
Exactly.
And I remember Alaska tweeted, people steal things they are incapable of earning themselves.
I have Violet coming in 6th place in my lineup.
I have Violet as the runner-up.
Whoa. Next queen is Sasha Belle.
Sasha Belle.
I like her.
I like her
Before
too.
we start in on her, I like her. I felt like we got a lot of personality from her Meet the Queens video.
She is from Iowa.
Iowa City.
Iowa.
Girl, God
really close to
bless
us.
you.
We have 3 semi-local queens on the show this year. Sasha Belle is one of them, considering how local we want to say they are. But she always brings unique looks. In her Meet the Queens video, she says she does like Mystique from the X-Men.
Yeah, I thought her answers were really thought out. Like some queens just threw out kind of the top names whenever that you saw what they were influenced by or who their idols were. But I thought her answers were a little bit more in depth and not necessarily what you would expect. I love the other videos she has on YouTube. I think they're funny.
They're
kind of boozy, but they're funny. And
I
got so much more personality from her from those. And I really liked watching what she does.
If you haven't seen them, she does drunk makeovers where she gets a friend and they get drunk and they just paint their faces. She does impersonations of the other queens. She's done Pearl, Jasmine Masters.
You have to check.
Check Jasmine
that
Masters.
That one's hilarious.
She does Pearl, Jasmine, Fame, and Max. I think those are the only ones that she's done.
Because she's not as polished and she's maybe not the perfectionist and maybe not as laser focused or competitive as some of the other queens, I did put her in 10th place.
I put her as 13th, second to go.
Yeah, so
I do
she might
like
go
her.
home soon, but I love her.
Mrs. Kasha Davis.
I like her way more than you do, but I like her.
I don't dislike her, but
in her Meet the Queens video, it was a little bit much. I felt like she was trying really hard to get people to like her.
She talked about booze all the time, which I say as I put my mojito down.
Well, that's probably part of her persona. But then when I watched her other videos and checked out her Facebook page and everything, she seems very sweet. And some of the videos themselves seem pointless. Like there was one where she was weeding her garden. So I don't care about the garden, but like all the side comments she had with her husband and just kind of the fun back and forth that they were doing and just look into what she's like just normally. That was awesome. And I loved seeing that side of her. And I hope we see more of that on Drag Race.
There was one video where she was on her way to a photo shoot for I think it was a benefit show. And she was with this older woman, and they were so sweet together, and she looked amazing in the photos.
She did. She is a polished queen.
As much as I like her look, and I think it's very put together, for some reason I think it could fall short when compared to the other girls. Especially since the rumors of the season is that it's going to be more fashion-oriented. Mm-hmm. So, who knows?
Yeah, I put her in 7th place. So she is up around or higher on my list. But I think there are other queens that are going to get the best of her.
And I put Kasha Davis as 10th.
Okay. Something I want to say before we go on. I don't feel like the Meet the Queens videos were a good representation or accurate representation of any of the queens. Whenever we delved deeper into their online portfolio of their work, if you want to call it that, we saw so much more personality, so much more versatility with all of these queens. And I think some of it is when a queen gets in front of the camera, if they're not familiar with that, either they're going to overcompensate and be a bigger, larger version of themselves, or they're going to shut down and come across as kind of boring, or just do something out of left field. And so I think some of it too is if they do film these a little bit sooner in the season, the Meet the Queens videos, that can really affect how it plays on screen. Ginger Minge.
I like Ginger. I know you don't, but I do.
It's not that I don't like her. I just feel kind of tepid about her. Something about her seems lukewarm to me. Yeah, she seems very sweet. And the performances that I saw online were pretty solid. But Nice Girls finished last.
I mean, I did get a little bit of humor from her Meet the Queens, and it wasn't great.
She's funny, but it seems to me like she's going for the camp type of a character, but then you need to camp it up even more.
Right.
I don't know. It seems very safe. And safe is a 4-letter word.
She is a pageant girl. She's Miss Gay USA at Large something like that.
She did win that. I do have her in 14th place. I have her going home first.
I think she's going to make top 4. I really do. I've heard rumors that she and Jaden are like the power couple of the season.
Okay, fine.
This next queen has something to say. That's right. Miss Jasmine Masters has something to say.
Jasmine Masters.
The first thing I have written down under Jasmine Masters on my page is something that you said about her. And that is...
Oh, no.
Her reasoning eludes me. Because I think that was in reference to this video she posted, and she has this whole series of where she just...
saying that.
She gets off on a tirade about something, and sometimes they're pretty entertaining, sometimes they're just stupid, but there's this one video where she says, if drag isn't paying your bills, meaning if you're not making money off of drag, don't do it. And then she backtracks and says, well, you can do drag as long as you have another job to support it. And she just kind of flip-flops and everything.
And I was like, what kind of friends do you have that they ask you to pay their bills?
Right. But then there's one video that she does where she starts off and she talks about eyelashes. Not lashes, not false lashes. She's like, why you got on eyelashes? Why aren't you wearing eyelashes? Put some eyelashes on. Eyelashes make you look so much better. You have to have eyelashes. And maybe you have to clip your eyelashes. Maybe you have to glue your eyelashes on. But she said eyelashes so many fucking times. But then, out of nowhere, she starts talking about, I told my friend that she doesn't look good because I'm a good friend. And if you don't look good, it's your job as a friend to tell them. So out of nowhere, she goes off on that, which, more power to her, because that video sold me on her.
Here's the thing, because at first I was like, this is not doing anything for me, and she's just reading people for the sake of reading people and trying to be funny. But then the more she got into it, I was like, this girl believes what she's saying.
She knows what she's talking about. This is
not an act. She is all in. Good for you, girl. Good for you.
I think that's going to be one of the things that's, like, sort of tough love. Tougher than love, but, you know...
necessary.
She's going to put the tough love in, like,
in Untucked. I was just going to say, she's going to have great Untucked moments. Now, I will say, I think that personality could harm her. I think she's a good performer, though.
I don't know
performer. What to say, but I don't know how she'll do in the challenges.
Jasmine Masters is that you can know the words to a song. You can have amazing choreography. At the end of the day, if all you're doing is lip syncing, you're losing that factor of I'm singing, I'm emoting this song. You really have to feel it if you're just lip syncing. We watched one video. I think that was one of the only performances we saw. We saw her do this video and the Nene Leakes one. Mm-hmm. She was doing a Patti LaBelle number, really slow gospel number. She felt it with every fiber of her being.
She was on the floor, rolling around, and I was like, yes, God. Yes. So, Miss Jasmine Masters, I have something to say. I like you. I'm sold on you.
I do like Jasmine Masters, but I think she's going to end up in 12th place.
See, and I put her 11th. And I know that seems very contradictory, but I don't know if I don't know how well she'll do in the challenges, and just overall, who knows? Maybe she'll surprise us.
Katya Yekaterina
Ekaterina Petrovna
Zomolochikova.
Yes, thank
I
you.
think.
One of these videos, mark my words, I'm going to rattle that off so fast.
She's another sort of young queen. I think she's like 26, 27 from Boston.
Yeah, she's very... A lot of people are saying she's the next Willem. Because her aesthetic is the same, her sense of humor is the same. But I don't hate that. I'm a Willem fan. So, I thought she was funny. Her Meet the Queens video was hilarious.
Like, would you rather be bitten by a shark or mauled by a lion?
I'd rather be mauled by my uncle. I mean, that was perfect. That was so funny. And
she has a well-thought-out character.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are saying she's really unpolished, or, like, you could see her beard. I think that's part of the whole look. Like, she's very much from the thought process of, I'm a man in a dress. Like, let's get one thing straight. This is supposed to be funny. It's not meant to be taken seriously, but I don't think that we shouldn't take her seriously. Because
right.
I think she's going to do well in the challenges, and she's got enough confidence that she's going to be just fine. I put her in 9th place.
I put her in 5th place. Candy Ho.
Candy Ho. I like her also. The one thing that sticks out in my mind is a video in the bibliography where she does this kind of futuristic robot number. And I wasn't sold on her until this point. And the other thing you should know is when we did all of our research, we weren't together geographically. So we did it on a Google Doc. So we would just put links and then our comments. And so I was going through and I could see all of Dan's comments because he did his research before I did. And I was reading through and we were kind of lukewarm about Candy. And then all of a sudden there was this video and it was all caps, expletives everywhere, and was like, you need to watch this. So I was like, okay. So I click on it and my jaw hit the floor. It was a killer performance.
You can't even describe it. You just have to go watch it.
Oh my God. It was so amazing.
I think her biggest claim to fame at this point is I think she got 12th in Miss Continental, that pageant. So. Yeah,
so the good news is she's no stranger to competition.
Right.
And
April is her sister. April was on last season.
And they paint similarly.
Right.
So that makes sense. So I think Candy's going to be fine. But beyond that kind of a performance, I don't know really what her strengths are. And with a performance like that, she had some backup dancers, some killer choreography, and that takes time to put together. And on RuPaul's Drag Race, there is no time. The challenges are coming at you rapid fire, and I'm wondering if that's going to hold her back.
Right. I agree.
So she might surprise us. I have her in 8th, so really close to Katya. But what did you put her at?
I have her at 11th because her Meet the Queens video didn't wow me at all. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know. With a grain of salt. Right. Aside from that one performance, I really don't know what to think of her. I don't know
anything about her.
And the thing is, even if you don't know that much about a person, you can still get a feel for them a little bit. And I just think everyone else I put above her showed me something that made me like them more than her. So I put Candy Ho as 11th. I need a refill soon.
Trixie Mattel. I adore Trixie. I think she's great.
I think Trixie's fucking fierce.
The one thing I have an issue with is she paints like she's Nicki Minaj, which, girl, you wait. But, aside from that, I wish her paint was a lot lighter. All the videos we saw from her were stunning because when she does a performance, she creates a well-thought-out character for every performance. Even if it's just a 3-minute song, there's a character, there's thought, what have you.
Absolutely.
And she's really well put together.
We saw her do the Kylie Minogue song, and her choreography was so perfect for that.
And the other thing I noticed about Trixie is when she was doing her Meet the Queens, you could tell she was comfortable in front of the camera.
She was fun to watch.
Right. She was entertaining and engaging, and I wanted to hear more from her. I was like, ask her another question. So, I like her a lot.
I like her makeup. I really do. I think it's just out there.
I think it's too much.
She
too dark. But
looks like a burn victim, and I like it. Is that too much? And Trixie's another one of those local queens from this season. So I have very high hopes for our local girls.
Yeah, I put Trixie in 3rd place. I think she's going to make top 3.
I put Trixie in 8th place, mostly because I've heard rumors that she's filler, and I haven't really been trying to spoil it that much for myself, but I can see why she might be. I'm sorry, I drew this one. Kennedy Davenport. I need another fucking drink before we get into this one.
Before we start in on Miss Kennedy, I will say this. When we're going through the queens, yes, we have our personal likes and dislikes. However, we try very hard to look at these things objectively. So even if there's a queen that we don't like, we're trying to find the reasons for, okay, why would RuPaul cast them, though? There has to be a reason.
Kennedy Davenport. I don't know where to start with her. There are rumors that she's the first to go, and one of the reasons is because, like we said last year, the Nancy Drews are always looking at social media to see who stopped posting, who said they're going to be out of town for whatever reason. Violet Chachki, around time of filming, said she was going to go visit family in Ecuador. Kennedy's social media absence was one of the shortest, so I think she's going to be the first to go. And a lot of other people do too, which is why she's been posting shit on like Instagram and hashtagging it with #underdog.
One of the things I noticed was that her answers in the Meet the Queens videos seemed very bland. And not just the answers, but the delivery of them. I think she was one of the ones who said something like her favorite queen from the past is Latrice. But then she also said that one of the best pieces of advice that she follows or that she hears is a queen should be seen and not heard. Now, if there's anybody who breaks the mold on that, it is Latrice. So there were a couple of things that didn't really add up to me. She is a pageant queen, so maybe that's why her answers seem very calculated and what have you. But I do have her going home 13th.
I have her going home first. I mean...
that's what I meant. Like, she's in 13th place.
Yes, she's second to go home.
Yeah. Jaden Dior Fierce. We both adore her. She's wonderful. I loved her personality in the Meet the Queens video and all of the videos that she puts on YouTube and whatever.
If she were to go on tour with Battle of the Seasons, she would be an amazing addition. If she won, she would be an amazing representative of what RuPaul's or what America's Next Drag Superstar is.
Right, and not only that, but she's so sweet to her fans and very kind, and I think she would represent the show well.
She's also a budget queen. She has a tutorial where she shows you how to cover your eyebrows in drag, and she pulls out fucking NYC makeup from Walmart, and as Willem said in Willem's Beatdown, NYC makeup is known as the hooker makeup. So yeah. I think that's also a good storyline. She doesn't come from a lot, but she's a fierce queen. I liked her performance style, too. She's bold. She's not an amazing dancer. She's no Alyssa Edwards. But she can work out an 8 count and get down with the rest of them. She takes fashion risks. She was wearing horizontal stripes. Which,
for a big queen, not being shady, that's a lot. And then the other thing that I was going to say was she also looks really put together out of drag. Some of the outfits that she had on in her videos when she wasn't in drag were nice. So
she also said in that one that you're referencing, I think, where she was wearing that floral scarf. She had this whole thing where she was like, I bring condoms wherever I go to all of my shows because I want my fans to be safe. I was like, you are diplomatic and smart, and I love it.
So if she doesn't win, I think she'll get Miss Congeniality.
Right.
First of all. But I did have her coming in 3rd place.
3rd?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. I had her coming in 4th.
I have her coming in 3rd.
Okay.
So the last queen, before we tell you who we think is gonna win, is Miss Fame.
Miss Fame. God, she's beautiful. She can paint. like no other. But if I had the kind of budget that she clearly has for her makeup, I could look wonderful too.
She has all those makeup tutorials, and she's like, "Here's this brush from
from NYX.
Here's from
Cosette.
Here's from this, and here's from that.
Here's from Krylon.
And here's this $5,000 foundation that I can."
I know. Does she have like frequent flyer points at Sephora or something? Oh my god.
She is a professional makeup artist, and she does like Snooki and JWoww and
she. Oh my god, it's amazing. Unfortunately for her and RuPaul, the look, it matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. Something that concerns me greatly, there are no videos of her performing.
We found one little teeny snippet in our Kasha Davis research.
Right, it was in somebody else's video.
Right.
So I don't know how she's gonna do. I mean, I'm assuming she's a professional already, right? So she's got to have some semblance of what to do and what not to do when she's on stage. I think she's going to be just fine. And the good news for her is most of the challenges aren't necessarily like lip sync or performance based. That just saves your butt if you're in the bottom two.
She is very high fashion, and if this is a really fashion oriented season, she's
going to do well.
That could save her.
Well, that's why I have her as the runner up for the season. The reason being, I don't think she's ever going to have to lip sync. I think she's going to do okay in each challenge where she won't have to do that.
That's fair.
But if she does, she's going to jump to the bottom of my list.
That kind of affects how I think about her now. You might have changed my mind. One thing we might have said.
Where was she in your list, though, first?
6th place. I put her as 6th.
Okay.
Like, just short of the makeover challenge, which she would have excelled at.
She would have turned that one out.
She seems really comfortable in front of the camera because she has filmed so many, like, makeup tutorials. Mm-hmm. She's in, like, she makes cameos and music videos and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah. She's a working queen. She's a professional.
Exactly.
We were kind of talking about this before we started filming. This is a season of not the famous queens. You don't see all the big names. But Miss Fame is at the top of the list in terms of the most well-known, right. I think.
That's another reason why I feel like she'll stick around pretty far, is just because she has the online following.
Draw, exactly.
Once she gets eliminated, you lose all of her viewers.
I think that Tempest will win.
Why?
She is... Well, first of all, she can sew. That is head and shoulders above any other reason. If you can sew, you've already made it halfway on RuPaul's Drag Race. As it should be, because if you're a queen who can't sew, then you're always relying on somebody else. Anyway, if you've watched previous seasons,
like how Adore relied on the producers.
Well, if you watched us last season, you know that we appreciate a sewing queen above all else. But she can sew. She's smart, incredibly articulate.
She's a professor.
She is. She's a college professor, which is wonderful. She's very camp and glamour, and we looked at her page.
She's a huge mix of glamour and camp.
Oh my goodness, her photos are beautiful, and her costumes are amazing. I will say the look that she had for the Meet the Queens video, I hated that, but I didn't think it fit with most of what she normally does.
Right, because
all of her other stuff looked way better than that. So I don't know why she chose that.
They were going for that sort of color scheme, that palette.
They were going for the black and white, But I loved all of her answers. She has a family at home, so she's going to have good untucked moments. And that means she has incentive to win.
Exactly.
She has, 2 kids at home?
She has 2 kids.
And she's versatile, clearly. And I don't think that everybody is going to like her as much, especially to start. But something about her tells me that she has that it factor. And I would like to see her win because she is, in my opinion, one of the most well-rounded queens we've seen in the history of Drag Race. Not just this season.
Right.
She can do it all.
In her Meet the Queens video, because they asked, why did you audition? I really liked her answer. And she said, I knew if I just made it on the show, I had reached some sort of level of, I don't want to say fame, but recognition.
Right, she had reached that next level of your new audience. So I would love to see her win, and I think she's going to go far. Even if she doesn't win, she'll go pretty far.
Plus, when I was in Spain, I got to see Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and all of her outfits remind me of Priscilla so much, so I like to call her Tempest, Queen of the Desert, because she's from Arizona. I love Tempest. I think she's fabulous. But I think she's going to end up taking 7th place.
Okay.
My turn.
Who did you pick for your winner?
Well, last but not least...
Which horse are you backing?
I am picking Max Milanofi as the winner.
Okay. You talk first.
Max, I think the biggest reason I want to back Max is because she's the most local queen. She's from Minneapolis. And I think she's kooky and funny, and I love her. That Meet the Queens video gave me life for days. I know you say, like, they're not going to pick another kooky, spooky, campy girl, which is fair, but I feel like if they didn't want someone like that, they wouldn't have casted her in the first place.
Here's my thing about Max. I don't know anything about him. I know nothing. And when we looked online, there's hardly anything out there. I mean, I saw nothing. I respect Sharon Needles. I respect Jinx Monsoon. I don't like their look. Same with Max. I'm not saying it's not a valid form of drag. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying I personally don't like it. Another
thing that I'm a little bit iffy about is the rumors going around saying that she does Miranda Sings for Snatch Game. Do you know Miranda Sings?
Yes.
Can you imagine Miranda Sings on Snatch Game? If she pulls it off, she deserves to win.
She does.
Miranda Sings is gonna be fucking difficult.
Tough.
Although
God bless you, girl.
If she doesn't do Miranda, I hope she does Judy Garland. I think she would be an amazing Judy Garland impersonator. I
put Max down as going home. He'd be in 5th place.
It's weird that I wrote one thing down for Max, and I'm just like, I think she's gonna win. And that's the thing. She has like one YouTube video. I follow her on Facebook. I don't have Instagram, but I like keep up with her on Instagram. Mm-hmm. There's like 3 things to do with her.
Here's the draw, though.
There's just so much draw with her. I don't know what it is.
I know, and I'm feeling the same way. I know nothing about her, but I want to know more.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know anything about her, and as far as I know, I don't like her look. I don't like what she's bringing to the table. But I want to see more of it.
I think she's going to be misunderstood by the other queens, particularly queens like Pearl and Violet, younger queens who don't really... Because Max is also pretty young. I think Max is 23, too. Mm-hmm. So I think because she's in that cohort, like that age group...
She's going to be underestimated, which could work in her favor.
Right. I think that could be a storyline where that brings her to the top.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this is her moment.
This is my moment!
So those are all of our picks for Season 7, our predictions, our thoughts. Please comment below, like our videos, let us know what you think, if you think we're spot on, or if you disagree with some of our decisions, and be sure to check out the bibliography. If nothing else, there's some great videos in there that you should watch before the season starts. So, thank you for joining us, and we will be back with more videos, more for Season 7, and all that good stuff. So, thank you for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.